Good morning, everyone. It is November 30th, and I have been joined by Microsoft AI MVP Rahat, good friend of mine, and welcome again on another Canadian MVP show. How are you doing, Rahat?
Very good. And you know that it's snowing in both in Ontario and Montreal, so it's beautiful out there. But hopefully, folks are enjoying our show today with a cup of coffee. And we will
Absolutely.
show some demos today. Last 2 weeks, we showed how to create prompt flow. How can we do some chatting on our data using prompt flow chat section? But today, we will show once the flow is ready, how can we validate the model is doing good or not? The flow is giving us the right answer or not? Is it grounded or not? So that this will help them to validate their process before putting it in production.
That's exciting, and thank you so much, folks, joining so early. We are so grateful every year from more than 7, 8 years we are doing Canadian MVP. So, and thank you again for constantly joining us. And today we will talk about performance evaluation. And I think uh, month after or next month we are also getting another MVP. We are getting so many requests, so we are looking over there. So as you guys know, my name is Deepak Kaushik, based on Windsor, Ontario, sister city of Detroit, and have been joined by our favorite Rahati Yasir from Montreal. So welcome on board. So again, we could not thank you enough, you folks. You are the constant motivation for us who watch our YouTube channel, give us feedback, go through our blog post, give us feedback, and when we are getting positive feedback, that motivates us, and when we get some suggestions that improve ourselves. So we are so grateful for both ways. So, as Rahat mentioned, we already look for a couple of things. We touch base on Azure AI. What is this? How to prepare environment. We look over prompt flow overview capabilities, and today we will be doing evaluation testing. So, for evaluation metrics, here we could say the first is the groundedness, where we look over how accurate and grounded answer are, how they are, how much they are aligned with the reality and based on the red sources. We look over the different verification and context, detect based on the question, predict answer and context, and ground truth not required. Anything you want to add over here, Rahat?
Yes, because one of the big complaint for the chatbots are chatbots can make up stuff. Chatbots can give us completely irrelevant like answers, and sometimes we also notice that chatbots can combine answers from multiple sources and make up some sort of like a new answer, which is not relevant. So in this case, one of the best way to prevent those type of situation is groundness. So we need to explicitly mention give me the source of this information whenever it's giving some sort of answer, so that the answer is justifiable and reliable as well. And whenever it's not like giving us that information, then we can say, okay, it's not grounded, it's not trustworthy, we cannot trust this source of information. So that's why, like, even on our prompt, when we forcefully mention that, hey, do not give me any answer if you do not know the source, just say I do not know. Still, we see that chatbots give like make mistakes, and this is also like we will show today. And that's the first one. We want our bot, and from a company or production perspective, if any airline or if any bank build a chatbot and expose it to outside, and if the chatbot makes up answers, that is really bad for the reputation, that they can get sued or something like that. So in that case, as long as they provide the proper evidence, this is the source, this is what I'm citing here, if you want to read detail, go and like read this PDF. It's kind of like same safe for everyone in that case.
Thank you, Rahat. For relevance, we need to detect how relevant answer are. And for these, we don't require any truth, no ground truth needed. So that is what we have to do for relevance. And for coherence, quality of answer and sentence is validated and no context or ground truth needed over here. Uh, anything, Rahat, which missed through gaps and cracks over here?
For the relevance, sometime like if we are asking something, the important question is the response is, are we getting something completely off topic? The answer is completely different what we are expecting. Maybe someone is asking about, oh, tell me the configuration of this product, but it's telling us, oh, which this is the price, this is what is this product about. No, we ask something specific in 100 words, tell me the configuration in 2 sentences, 3 sentences. So the relevance is very important because we don't want our chatbot to give random answers or irrelevant, or it's also like inaccurate answer as well. So this is something we can test. And those testing, other than the groundness, in most of the cases, you can see we don't need the ground truth. It's a, we can also like organize it in a way, and there is also like prompt flow has certain feature built in a way we can just like have some sample results, so that we can verify and then see how relevant the answers are. We can also use another LLM model to verify the responses of one LLM model. So it's a back and forth process, but this is something we will show it today. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So without further delay, let me quickly switch into the Azure portal. And as you guys, if you are joining today first time, looking over the description and you want to learn more, so basically you have to go to Azure portal, and from Azure portal you have to go to Azure machine learning. Once you go to Azure machine learning, I have already Azure machine learning instance created, which is for Canadian MVP show, which we are using from here. So you could create your Azure AI services, giving the resource name, subscription name, the name of the services, and pricing tier which you want to look over from different pricing tier as well. You already touch base that, but you could choose as per your business need. And once you have Azure machine learning workspace ready, you could click on Studio Web URL, and once you click on Studio Web URL, you will land it over here. So basically, in this case, once you are here, you could click on the prompt flow. And then today we are going to create a new prompt flow. And to create the prompt flow, we could have this technically today we will talk about evaluation flow, which is used to create the evaluation flow to measure how well the output matches the expected criteria and goals, which we just touched base. And once you hit the create button, you will find, okay, what is the folder name you want to create it, any relevant. So in this case we could say, okay, it would be for Canadian MVP show, and we will go from there. It will take some time, so Rahat has already created it, and Rahat, would you go for
Yes.
ahead and share your screen, please?
Yep, I'm gonna do that. You need to enable
Yeah,
the share
uh,
part.
yeah, you are. There you go.
Okay, so if you remember, can you see my screen? Yes. So if you remember, last 2 weeks, we built a two prompt flow example. First one was we built a Wikipedia or URL classifier. We were providing a new URL, and it was telling us this is movie, this is academia, this is this is a YouTube channel or not. And the second prompt flow that we built was we were chatting on our own data, and the data source we were using was the continent, like different continent information, Africa, Asia, Canada, Europe. And then we were asking questions. So we will try to validate, because last time we didn't validate how accurate our models are. We will try to validate it today. So to first thing is we want to validate how accurately it is answering and it is also like answering the proper with proper sources or not. So we need a small data set, some ground truth, so that we can validate it. So I have prepared a quick and small data set in this case. So super simple. You can see I have a bunch of questions and I have a bunch of answers. So tell me the population of Europe, the GDP of Europe, tell me GDP per capita in Europe, a bunch. And I have copied those answers from the those PDFs. Now there is one difference. If you remember last week, the answers we were getting were 4 or 5 sentences, but here I have put only one sentence or one single digit. So we want to see what happened if GPT is answering it in a detailed way, but we want to just validate in this fourth sentence this $30 trillion value or $57,000 value exists or not. So we want to like validate on that sense. So let's go back. So the first thing is this was our prompt flow model, exactly, if you remember. And just to show everyone, we are going to run it one more time before we move into the evaluation part. We have already done some evaluation. So there are two things are happening here. When we are running it, it's running it on one individual cases. But when we will run it, it will run it on a batch of all 11 cases. So we will look at how to run it on batch so that we can evaluate. Plus, how can we run it on batch and then check the groundness and relevance as well. So, okay, so it has ran. Again, if you remember, we can ask also like a different question. Tell me the name of all the South America continent countries, just to see is it working or not before we jump into the evaluation part. So it's a single pass. And we don't need to go anywhere else. We can evaluate, like a deploy, evaluate all those things from here. So that I will show next. Before we go into the deployment, first part is to be sure our model is and our prompt flow is working well. And another thing we will also show is, as you see, it's running, it is taking some time. So sometime if the flow gets really big, we also need to optimize it. So we will also look at like, okay, where it's taking the most amount of time and how can we optimize it as well. So we asked the question, if you look at the output, response based on the additional knowledge provided in the prompt. The countries in the South America are blah 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 blah. So pretty nice. It has it is also like giving me the source as well. That's perfect. So now if you want to evaluate this model on 11 different cases, how can we do it? Click on the evaluate, and then we can also like say WS eval new for suppose, and then we all need to select some run description. In that case we don't need that. We need to go back, then we need to select the data. So where are we getting the data from? If you remember, this was the data rack test 99, but let's rename that one because I have already rack test nov 30, so that it's a new data set will be used here. Add a new data source, upload from local file. I'm going to select it here, document, sample data, and then rag. So this was exactly the data. Oh no, local file. So document, folder, document, sample. This one, rag test November 30. If you select this one and then we say nov 30 2024 test. So what happened? You will see automatically this data is loaded, and it is already giving me the dataset column. There are two columns, data question and data answer. So here the question is the question that we will be validating. So you can see a quick preview as well, top 5 rows. And then these are the answer that we will validate it with. So next, you can do different types of validation. So this is the interesting part. Groundness evaluation test, if you want to see in detail, you also like see more information regarding what does it mean. Some example is also like there as well. So if you want to like check that. But in our case, we can do different types of like groundness will be one of them. We can also check accuracy evaluation as well. We can also see other Q&A evaluation, relevance, as we were saying, coherence. In our case, it's just a single answer. We don't need to check the coherence. We can see the accuracy and groundness in that case. So and we can also see F1 score, ADA, similarity, and other kind of activities. So we need to select where is this groundness information is coming from. Uh, for the ground truth, please specify the information. In this case, flow output will be used, or we can use even something else. So we need to select which string we are going to select it with for the ground evaluation test. For the second one, evaluation test, you can see question is already provided, context is already provided, answer is the data answer, the sample that we have already provided. I'm not going to apply it this one, accuracy, because here it's not about accuracy. It's more into like we are getting some sort of chat information, but we want to see how grounded the answer is. Accuracy is more into like when you have a single word, hey, tell me this, tell me that, or how relevant the answer is when we validate it with another GPT model. So the question, we have selected the question, context is coming from the prompt flow, answer is the answer that we have also provided and selected. And these are the kind of like preview. And we also need to select the LLM model. We are using the existing default one. And then pretty easy. Once it is done, we can submit, and it's going to like take that prompt flow, prepare it in an environment, and then run it on the 10 or 11 data sets that we have provided. So if we go back, click on here, it's a job. It is going to run, it is going to prepare it. You can see it's already working. So if you want to see it in detail, we can go to run, and we can also like see that this is preparing, and it's going to run soon. It takes a few minutes. You can see my historical runs, but we don't need to wait. We can just like go back and see um, the one that I have already tried. So it will looks like something like this: Q&A WS2. So once it is run, as I was giving 11 different rows, it will show that, oh, all the 11 rows are completed. And then if I click on the output, you can see all the instances are completed. This is the question, this is the output I have received, and what is the and this is the context LLM is also providing. So it's not telling me yet it is accurate or not, grounded or not. It's just showing the example that, oh, I asked the question, this is the output I have received. So we can test our queries or ground truth in a big batch like this. If you have hundreds or thousands of like ground truths that you have already using it to test, so you can run them and then validate it one by one. But to see how good our runs are, we will as we were selecting the groundness, so which is actually, you can see it's running this too. So this is the same result. So if we click on this one, we want to validate the groundness and then see the output. That's where interesting thing is. So if the answer is 5, which means it's accurate, GPT is grounded. If the answer is 1, which means it's not accurate, GPT is not grounded, it's not giving the right information. So in that case, we asked, tell me the population of Europe. It has found some information, 720 million by 2025, 2050, and a bunch of other information it has found, but it didn't find the right information for me. It looked at the world population prospect 2020 summary result. So which is, this is not the data that I have provided. I have provided only Africa, Asia, Canada, Europe, North America, South America. So in that case, this prompt has used some data that is not relevant to the data sources that I have provided. Where I have also like provided this exact answer, it didn't match. So this grounded is 1. So it's bad answer. But let's look at the 5. We asked what is the population of North America. So it looked at the answer, and in 2021 the answer the population was exactly 592 to 96 to 33 people. And it also like showed the sources in North America PDF. So exactly in this one, North America PDF. So if you want to open it here and then exactly search it, do we find this exact information? No, not this one. So you can see it has found one relevant information exactly here. The population of North America is this. So that's why we are calling it 5 out of 5. So same, all the other ones that are another one, tell me the total GDP of Asia. It has found a lot of information, but it's not exactly 72 million answer that I'm looking for. And even it is not even providing any kind of source. You can see there is no source information where I have provided the answer and its groundness is 1. But in another case, tell me the population of Asia. So it has looked at the answer, it has found exactly this answer that I have provided. It's matching exactly. And then it's also like providing me the source as well. So that's why it's 5. So this is the ideal way to validate how accurate your LLM model, LLM is, how accurate your prompt flow is, so that you don't deploy something that are not accurate. And in this case, what can you do? Because you got 2, 5, and most of them are 1, which means it's not following the right source, it's not following the right information that you have provided. In that case, you will need to go back to the prompt flow and then try it again and again and again. So this is the best way of like validating your prompt flow, your accuracy,
So
your
it
results.
means number of iteration until unless we are not getting the expected result.
Yes, yes, 100%.
That's so great. That's so great, and that's why a couple of folks are asking, you know, they are asking like how many times we have to do iteration. So basically, depend on the until unless we are not getting the result which is adhere to our grounded.
100%. One
Yeah.
interesting thing I want to show. So is this one is the same exact like doing the same exact validation with the same data set. So we just started to run this one, if you remember a few minutes ago. So
Hmm.
this one what we saw. Let's see. One of the interesting thing is prompt or GPT never gives the same answer 2 times, because it's not
Absolutely.
that discriminative, deterministic. So in that case, you can see we got 1 5 and 1 2 5, and most of the others are 1. And
Hmm.
we got 5 in what is the population in North America and what is the population in Asia. Now go back and see the same kind of like run another one that we did today, that ran few minutes ago. Let's validate that one. So you will see the answers have changed. So we got 1 3
Hmm.
and 1 5. So tell me the population in Asia, it's still 5. It has found the right Wikipedia. But tell me the population is not North America. It didn't find the right information anymore. It went to some other information, and then it's looking at, oh, the GDP per capita is 41,000. But tell me the GDP, like total GDP of North America. I was asking something else. And yes, it provided the source, but the accuracy is not the right, because the answer didn't match. But this time it kind of accurately answered another question, which is, tell
Hmm.
me the GDP per capita in Europe. I provided this, but it provided the source, but the answer is not right. That's why it's 3. And it
So
also like cited 2016 information, not the 2021.
yeah, Sujan is asking after deployment or before deployment, can we ensure uh, it will go to the sources which only we want? Like we don't want to ensure it will go to
That's a
wrong.
very good question. So in that case, it's a trial and run. You need to like go back to the prompt. You need to
Hmm.
like try it more. You need to like try different sources of prompt. You
Hmm.
also like, and another thing, we will show it in our next session, content moderation. We can also like have something at the beginning, have something at the end to stop the content to go
Hmm.
outside. So
Okay.
there are different ways that we will also like tips and tricks that we can follow. Uh, One more thing just to show, once you run that one, you can also like see all the logs that you have regarding your that historical run, that 11 line number has ran, all the metrics that you have, you can see it, all the traces. So one of the interesting part is my flow is taking extra time. What can I do? Why it's taking extra time? Or suppose this one, this third run took 213 milliseconds. So if you see where it's taking most time, you're gonna see, oh, OpenAI chat, this specific API call took 167 milliseconds, and then you can also see the details and everything, the tokens output, so that all the like, is it like, plus it also has the content moderation certain level, it's already embedded. You can see content filter result, hate safe. It's not severity. There's no hate information. Self harm safe. Sexual content is not there. Violence is not there. So those are also like embedded with the newer models, so that you don't need to like run them separately. So that's why that can also like take some extra time too. But you can
Absolutely.
always optimize your model, find the right ground, like why this one is taking 121 seconds, why this one is taking 1 to 25. So you can validate, you can try and run different kind of things.
That is so exciting. And thank you so much, folks. Stay tuned for your next question. I know Alex, Luke, Susan, different questions are around. So keep yourself whole. In next session, we will be certainly going to address all those things. And eventually, organically, we had planned about those, what would be the life cycle, how to do prompt flow. So as we mentioned earlier, so we will be going from there. So anything you want to add, Rahat?
No, that's perfect. In our
Okay.
next session, we can, as you remember in our previous talk, we also showed a web classifier. We can show
Hmm.
the same groundness validation with a web classifier as well. So I think folks will enjoy that.
Okay. Stay tuned. Again, thank you so much for joining Canadian MEP Show. Take care.